Alright, so, hi. I know, it's been a while. It's been a while since I've, you know, uploaded any videos here on YouTube, but here we are. Now, I want to address a few things here. While I myself am just playing this game here on Google, Google Snake and such, So, I'll just go and, cut towards the chase about where have I been? Why haven't I uploaded? Where's the Florida 500 of the 2005 Revival Piston Cup season? Well, I'll go through all of that first. So, first off, it's getting going on to where have I been? Well, for starters, it just began somewhere around. It just okay. I'll just give me a second. Okay, so this began way back, a long time. I was like messing around with my laptop, such, the usual stuff. And then out of the blue, it just started to close off. I called my dad in once and told him about everything else, like how my laptop just completely just shut off for some unknown reason. I didn't even press the start button, nor just even hit the power button. It just closed off by itself. So, my dad tries to turn it back on, and I also tried to turn it back on as well, but it didn't work. I tried going in the cartridge. It didn't work as well. Now, this also had happened earlier, but we were able to get it back on again. I just had blow on the cartridge and something that's you see the bottom. But it didn't work. It just had the same result. Now, for those curious, the laptop I used back then, it was a very old laptop. Say it was from 2010 or something like that. But yeah, it was a very old one. I kind of remember that for knowing that my parents would often I call it, I'm gonna phrase myself. I remember seeing my parents my mom or dad using it for work purposes, and then eventually me and my older sister would start using it because of playing games. Also, so the also my also the old laptop used to have Minecraft in it, but that game's now gone. And yeah, that old laptop, I was been using it, and then for a while, and then it's a what? Hold on, okay, just forgive me about my grammar. I, I'm not good with words. But so, anyways, about with a few things about my about the laptop that I used to use back then. I started using it solely as the sole laptop that I was using for a while. After my older sister got her own laptop, I initially messed around. So initially it was usually me and me and my older sister use. But then she started using it as solely her own laptop, and after all, it was hers after all. Now going back towards of course, with my own situation after my old laptop was unable to turn back on, I decided to now switch over to using my sister's laptop here, which you can see right now. Which you can see that I'm using it right now. Now, now, now for context, my older sister now has a computer, and she has been using it ever since. She stopped using her old laptop, and there are like a couple of reasons. The first reason was that its screen was completely bugged, like completely, broken. So I had to resort to using a monitor just to see things. However, that monitor didn't last long, and as such, once when Ate got her computer, she left this laptop unused. And then once after my laptop shut off completely and cannot be turned on again, I'm now using this as my sole laptop for now on. And now, this one is a Windows 11. Okay, the Windows version on my old laptop was a Windows 10, I guess, or maybe a Windows 8. I don't know. But okay, let me rephrase myself again. The Windows version on this laptop is Windows 11, which you can tell right here. On my old laptop, the Windows version was a Windows 10 or a Windows 8, if I can recall. Or it was a Windows 10, but back then when I was a kid, the Windows version was a Windows 8.
Ken! Sabi mo, tumatawag na, Ken!
Sorry, that was my dad. That was my dad right there. He's telling me go to sleep because I have school tomorrow. Go. Okay. I'll just need to make this quick. Yeah, my parents are like that. They Nalam ko po! Nagre-record ako! Just give me a second. Yeah. Yeah, apologies for that. My parents were always like that when it was late at night. Because okay, so yeah, sorry about that. That was my parents. That was my dad. He was telling me to go to sleep because I have school tomorrow, but though it's essentially though I find a bit frustrating at times. I also understand that they seemingly care about me. But anyways, back anyways, back on board again. So after switched towards my sister's old laptop, we restart this, and we start this because restart the laptop so it can look like fresh and new, and so I can like use it because 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 my sister's like stuff were like in this laptop that I'm like using right now, which you can see I'm like in Google Sync. So of course after like set things up here, I like was able to have to like go on ahead and like using this as like my sole laptop for now on. And then after some time I started installing Enter 2003 here again. Now, to be fair, I did have this game like installed here once before I had to start using it as her like sole laptop before until she gets her like computer. And of course, yes, Enter 2003 runs smoothly, but however, I ran into a couple of problems. Of course, lag aside, which is a bit common since this is a laptop and not a computer, I just like ran into like some problems, mostly regarding with the controller that I was like using. So the controller that I was like using for Enter 2003 was an Xbox controller. I had to like line around somewhere. I had to like line around, and when I first played this game, I initially started with a PlayStation controller, but before switching to the Xbox, since it's more since I like, find it a bit more easy to like use. And the problem is that I had um I had a mouse and keyboard like connected to the laptop, and I had no and I had like nowhere else to like connect to my controller. But yeah, but that's not essentially one. That's essentially one of those problems. One problem that I always had was when I exit out the game, like go back to the desktop. There were some occasions that the screen would like go black, and then the laptop would suddenly like restart itself. And I found this completely annoying. Another thing is that okay, let me just rephrase this thing. I had like I reinstalled Enter 2000 I reinstalled Enter 2003 here again after I like switched towards my older sister's laptop, and it still works as fine as it is. I had ran into a couple of problems. Of course, aside from like the lag, that's essentially like the problem since this is a laptop that I'm using and not a computer. But there were like a couple of problems, and that's mostly related to the control that I was using. So, as I mentioned before, I was using an Xbox controller so I can like get Enter 2003 working. And the problem is, I have nowhere else to connect it. So I had to like leave it, and so I had to like leave like my controller lying around for now until once when I like everything said like start playing Enter 2003. I had to like unplug either the mouse or the keyboard, and so I can play it. Another one that I like find out another problem that I ran into was that when I tried to like exit out of the desk when I exit out of the desktop, the game would the screen would like black out, and the laptop would unexpectedly restart itself. And I like find this a bit annoying because I was like testing out a few things with NR 2003 and so on. And that always like screwed me up a lot. And it also sometimes like canceled off my internet connection, which is another thing that I find annoying. And yeah. So, and of course, another thing I realized that I had like a few things that like made here. Like, you remember in the 2005 Revival Piston Cup season, I had like custom made 2005 Piston Cup races that like made, and and of course they were all on the old laptop that I was like using, and I couldn't like find a way to like get them back. So I had to like start to like so I had to, forgive me if I sound a bit. Forgive me if I like sound strange. It's just because I'm not good with words and I always like stumble upon them. But yeah. All of the items that I had on my old laptop were all the stuff that I like. Some of the stuff I made for the 2005 Revival Piston Cup season, they are all in my old laptop, and because my laptop cannot like open up anymore, I completely lost them. I just lost the car file, the GTA files, and such. And also, I haven't yet installed any mods in the game. I haven't yet installed any mods for NR 2003 just yet. I did like a couple, and just curious. Okay, so I haven't yet installed any mods into NR 2003 just yet, and it's mostly because I'm not sure how like the mods would like handle in game and such. Yeah. So okay. So yeah, a couple. I've lost for like some of the car set that I've like made for the 2005 Revival Piston Cup season, and I'm already back at rock bottom where I initially began. So yeah, it's essentially like much of a complete full circle for me, and that's been like completely heartbroken that I technically lost this impressive car set that I was like making. And of course, I think you're all wondering, what would become of the 2005 Revival Piston Cup season, you may be wondering. Well, it's simple. It's shelved. Like, like shelved for good. It's cancelled for good. The series is dead. Yeah, that's essentially about it. And now, I'm pretty sure you're now wondering what happens next. Well, I'm just gonna like, well, from this point on, I'm not gonna be like uploading any videos from now on. I just want to like focus more specifically on with, I want to like focus specifically on my private life, with things like school, and because it makes sense for me to like just stay focused on like my private life and such. So yeah, I'll be taking a break. So starting from this point onwards, I'll be taking a break, and And sometime later I'll like come back later. Yeah. Yeah. So I'll just end the video here. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you wherever. And I'll see you sometime soon. So later.